Hi, everybody, and welcome to Dystopian Simulation Radio. I'm your boy, Chris.
And I'm Linz. Yeah, I wasn't about to say I'm your girl, Linz. That just sounds kind of weird, although I could be.
How are you doing, Linz?
Yeah, pretty good. Just got back from class, rushed home, and then waited half an hour for you to twiddle your thumbs.
Hey, the emergencies crop up every 2 seconds when you got a child.
Yeah, was that a snack emergency? A
More of the other
watch
end.
a quick episode of the X-Files emergency? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm good though. Freezing cold here. We've had snow. My brain's just full of Swedish words about different holidays right now. So I'm not sure if I have too much to say. How about you? What you been up to? How you feeling? What's going on?
All good. It's been a good start to the year thus far. I've been really just kind of getting back into the swing of things. It's been really cold here. Probably not as cold as where you are, but it feels colder because it doesn't normally get that cold.
We're
In the
doing the
UK.
British thing of talking about the weather. What was the last series or movie you watched?
The last thing that I finished was I finished Black Doves on Netflix.
Oh, I've seen that, but I didn't watch it yet. Is it worth it?
Yeah, you know what, it really is. I was kind of like somebody recommended it to me, and I was like, would it be all right? But you know, it's well worth a watch. It's pulpy stuff, but it's well made.
What's it actually about?
So it is about Keira Knightley plays the lead.
Oh, of course you watched it.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, if you're not a member of the Patreon, you probably don't know why I said that. We answered some extra questions. We had some bonus Q&A for the Patreon where we answered about our crushes, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Keira Knightley
yeah.
wasn't one of them though.
Who was it? Oh, it was the one who was like Keira Knightley, but not. The American Keira Knightley.
Natalie
What's her name?
Portman.
Natalie Portman. Same thing,
Yeah.
different continent.
Although I'm not saying anything negative about Keira Knightley either. You know,
They're
absolutely.
the same person to me.
They're very different. Very, very different.
Really? I just
Yeah.
remember them as being exactly the same person with different accents.
I suppose they do play relatively similar roles.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, one was Bend It Like Beckham, the other was Star Wars. Those are probably very different things.
I mean, you could have connected Pirates of the Caribbean and Star Wars, and I would have
Oh
been
shit,
like, "Oh
yeah,
yeah,
okay,
you're right."
yeah.
Yeah. Bend it like Beckham. Yeah,
Just pulled that from the archives.
from somewhere. Yeah, she is the wife of a high-ranking minister in the UK government, but she's also a secret spy as well.
Ooh,
And
okay.
she gets embroiled in something that's way beyond uh, her level, and then her old friend has to come back to London as well to kind of be her point man and sort, kind of protect her and stuff like that. It's well worth a watch. It's dramatic, but it's also got a lot of funny moments in it as well.
And she goes back to London to reconnect with Keira Knightley.
Yes, but not in that way.
Okay.
Quite the opposite, in fact.
Right. Okay. Well, there's the recommendation from Chris. Yeah, we're both good. Housekeeping. Oh, Patreons.
Patreons. Yes.
Patreons.
Thank you very much to all of our patrons who quite literally keep the lights on with this podcast. So, very quickly, thank you very much to A Hawk, Chris Lebowski, Patrice, Ordained Sinister Minister, Devon Sweatshirt, if that is your real name, Graves, Riff Cult, I'm watching you, Cropley Crab, Cash Brodias, Creepy Paper, Jamie Sook, Spoof, Lindsay Keller, Michael Wright, Kelsey Carruthers, Linz Gibson, Drake Halvig, Michael M, Wesley Akers, Riaz, Emily Medeiros, The Toxic Avenger, Pip, and Philip Hoffman.
Oh, it's actually really nice and wholesome to keep hearing all the same names again. I really love it.
It is.
Creepy Paper is a mystery to me. Love to know
Paper.
more about Creepy Paper.
Is it like a creepy pasta?
Yeah, I was like, what does it mean? Who is it? What are they like? What are they into? I want to know everything about creepy paper. I don't think I've ever interacted with you, creepy paper. Hmm.
I think creepy paper, the only creepy paper I know is The Sun.
I think that's gone right over my head.
Page 3, that's a bit of a creepy paper.
Oh, a creepy newspaper. Okay, right.
Took a while.
uh, I was also thinking, what's that scrunchy paper? Is it crepe paper?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's
For
the.
creeping.
What is it?
I don't know.
Oh,
You mean like the like tracing paper type stuff?
no, it's like it's colored and it's like a really weird texture and it's very scrunchy. And if you eat it, it tastes absolutely disgusting.
Oh,
You're not meant to eat it. But anyway, I think
probably why it
someone
tastes
out there
disgusting.
might know what maybe someone out there knows what I'm talking about. Oh, speaking of the Patreon, if you could just jump in the Patreon chat there quickly, Chris,
I shall do.
and take a look at an amazing thing that I saw today. I actually didn't know, Chris, that you had personal merchandise out there.
Personal merchandise. Oof.
Yeah.
Let's have a look here.
I didn't know that we were able to obtain like merchandise of you in your free time.
Oh God. Here we go. Is
That's
that
you.
is that an Action Man 90s vintage pencil case where Action Man is riding a dolphin?
Yes.
Wow.
So in class today, right, I was just sitting minding my own business. The guy in front, he pulls out a pencil case, puts it on the desk, and I was like, "Fuck off, fuck right off." An Action Man, a vintage Action Man pencil case of Action Man riding a large, girthy dolphin in the depths, and I asked him about it. I was like, "Hey, where did you get that?" And he was like, "Oh, I've had it since primary slash elementary school. And I never used it, and it was in the packaging, which is why it looks so new. And I've just brought it out."
Amazing. The greatest hero of them all.
And all I could think was just, that's Chris.
I absolutely would rock that. To be fair, I looked at that and my first feeling was jealousy.
Me too. I actually went on Amazon while I was waiting for you and had a little a little Amazon search to see if
Is
I could.
Action Man still a thing?
I doubt it. I've not heard of him for
Was he even an
absolute years.
American thing? Was he just a British
I
thing?
don't think so. He looks very British to me.
Yeah, because they had like G.I. Joes and stuff. And we do kind of have that here, but
It was
it,
Action Man all the way. And
yeah.
it was like, Action Man, the greatest hero of them all. Neew, neew. And it was like a guitar or something.
Yeah.
My brother had Action Man. And I would always like, he had these big like army jeeps. And would always put my Barbies in the Action Man jeeps and accessories or whatever. They both
Oh
had
my
jeeps, come to
goodness.
think of it. There was no Ken in our house. There was only Action Man.
So apparently Action Man is back.
Ooh.
They have got various ones on the website. Action Pilot Deluxe, Action Sailor Deluxe.
What about Dolphin Man?
Hold on, they've got limited edition Bobby Moore Action Man.
Ooh.
Ski Patrol. Ooh,
That's
Action
cool.
Sailor.
Is he Action Dolphin Man?
No, there appears to be a distinct lack of dolphins.
Action Man had a dolphin and Barbie had a dolphin.
Did they live together in a strange LSD studying environment somewhere off the coast of Hawaii?
I think that's definitely what it was inspired by. If you don't know what we're talking about, look for our episode titled LSD Dolphins.
And dolphins.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, well, that was an unexpected twist I didn't expect to be talking about at the beginning. But speaking of twists, it's been a while, Linz.
It's been a while.
Since we last had a cryptid, but we've
Ooh.
got one here today.
Oh, thank God.
Yes, Linz, today we are peeling back the skin on West Virginia. Famous
Ew.
for being almost heaven, but when this cryptid is around, it's almost certainly hell.
An evil cryptid.
They're generally kind of evil.
Ooh, okay.
Like, in general, cryptids.
Do you think so? I think they're just a bit misunderstood and strange looking, and people discriminate against them.
Well, I mean, if it's the nicest thing you've ever said about me.
Well, I'm also in the category now because I'm apparently the Dover demon.
Well, let us open the file today on the Flatwoods Monster. Have you ever heard of this?
Ooh. I've heard of it, don't know anything about it, and I'm pretty sure that's what I say for like every cryptid ever that isn't Jeff the Mongoose or Bigfoot.
Pretty accurate. So Flatwoods, West Virginia. Tell me all about it.
um, West Virginia. Yes. I know it well. I know many things about it. It's a place.
It is a place.
There's a song about it.
Mm-hmm.
It has country roads and they take you home.
You do.
Yeah, I know the Mothman's from there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it seems to be a bit of a hub. Something about West Virginia. And I did not know that the Flatwoods Monster was from there. So there's a lot of things coming out of West Virginia, actually.
There is.
In our realm, anyway.
Flatwoods, John Denver, all kinds of things.
Yes.
Flatwoods is about a mile off exit 67 of Interstate 79.
I know it well.
Has a population of 264.
What? That might be the lowest population of any place we've ever had.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's got to be something else. Notes. The mayor is amusingly named Dale Aball.
A ball?
A Ball.
Like a hawk?
Like a hawk. Hitler has only got one hawk.
Ball. Hitler has only got one ball. What's the rest of that? I don't know.
The other is in the Albert Hall.
Yes.
Now, Flatwoods does have a website, but its history page is construction. Flatwoods is, Linz, a quaint little town. A lovely place to live, I'm absolutely sure. But it's famous, really, for being the home to the Flatwoods Monster, sometimes called the Phantom of the Flatwoods, the Braxton County Monster, Braxy, adorably, or
Aww.
by the town's own website, the Green Monster. So, what is the Flatwoods Phantom and just what happened? 4 boys were playing on the grounds of the Flatwoods Elementary School at 7:15 in the evening when they should have been in bed, dangone it. Sorry. 7:15 on the 12th of September 1952 when suddenly they saw something in the sky. The boys were the brother duo of Edward and Freddie May and their friends Neil Nunley and Tommy Hyer, or possibly Ronnie Shaver, which is a great pseudonym that I want to go by at some point in my life in the future, signing to hotels as Ronnie Shaver. It's either Tommy Hyer or it's Ronnie Shaver, depending on the source that talks about this. The quadrant looked up as suddenly the darkening skies became illuminated with light. Something, perhaps a meteor, streaked overhead and landed onto the hillside within the property of Farmer Fisher's land. I did say Farmer Fisher. He must have been a rebel, refusing to go into the family fishing business like his daddy wanted, instead growing corn as he'd always dreamed of, but he kept the Fisher name for his daddy's sake. I love you, Pa.
Maybe he farmed salmon.
Maybe he did in the middle of West Virginia. Maybe.
You only need some buckets, Chris. Buckets and a dream.
3 buckets and a dream. The group rushed to investigate, but they had to pass the Mayboy's house on the way to get to the hillside, so they made a pit stop to tell the May's mother, Kathleen. Kathleen was, of course, intrigued and gathered up the family dog Richie to go and explore with the boys. She did have the foresight to call National Guard member Eugene Lemon to come and join them, someone who presumably was a bit more equipped to explore the crash site, whatever was up there. So, sounding like the start of the NES game Earthbound, a housewife, a soldier, 4 young boys, and an adorable dog ascended the mountain to explore a crash site. But when they got there, it was quite the sight to be seen. So, Linz, let's pause here for a second. We've had, a fiery meteor of some description crash into the side of a mountain. What are you expecting to see up there?
A meteor.
Well,
A meteor crashed. Okay, so the Flatwoods Phantom or Monster, just by the name, that's pretty much. I know kind of what it looks like, although I'm not entirely sure, and the name, but like, I'm starting to feel like it's some kind of like ET or like UFO situation now. Like you said, meteor, which
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I did not think that it was something that I'm assuming here came from space and crashed onto Earth. Like, okay, I'm expecting like an alien, like a Rendlesham sort of burns in the ground, and I don't know. Is this like an alien
Yeah,
kind of
pretty
stuff?
much.
Is it an
It's
alien?
either
Right, yeah, it's
alien
feeling
or
very
it's
X-Files, yeah.
interdimensional or it's something along those lines. But yeah, it's definitely not of this world.
I was thinking it was going to be like a Dover demon thing just by the name, like it just shows up in a forest. But all right, it's crashing. Right. This is very interesting, actually.
Well, it was Neil Nunley who saw it first. A glowing red light pulsing rhythmically. Then the rest of the group noticed. Eugene Lemon aimed his flashlight at the source, and the group saw something out of this world. Before we jump into a description, I want to jump forward to some drawings that the boys made after the fact. Would you like to see these first, Linz?
100%. Oh, God, I love a drawing.
These can loosely be described as drawings.
Oh, God. Oh! These are adorable. It's reminding me of, do you know the first part, if you recall, the first part of the Loveland Frog? You know, the ones with the wands and the chains? It's reminding me of a simplified version of that. Like, if you were to make a modern logo of the original Loveland Frogs, you might come up with this. So we have 3 little guys. If you can imagine a stick man with sort of a larger body, this is all just like black line work, and they each have some something shaped like a large Dorito behind their heads and shoulders. So there's 3 of them. They're reminding me of some like Studio Ghibli thing, like some character. They're very Studio Ghibli to me. This line work drawing with the Doritos and stuff. The first one has a bit of like a cloud-shaped head with 2 eyes. The second one's a circle. He's given salad fingers for some reason. And the third one, kind
Rusty
of similar.
spoons.
Yeah. And it says, 3 of the boys present. Should I read this?
Yeah, go for it.
So it says, 3 of the boys present at the sighting made these 3 different drawings of the monster's upper portions. The drawings differ in minor details but show basic similarity. All depict the monster's face as being round with 2 eye-like openings, while the head has a pointed hood shape around it. I'd describe it as like a bit of a melted Dorito shape.
I don't know how popular Doritos were back in 1952, though. Had they yet been discovered as an element?
But just for the sake of the listeners, yeah, the first one has a bit of a fluffy. Do you know those face masks that were quite popular for a time, where you put them on and they sort of like foamed up and made you look insane? The first one looks like it's got one of those on, but the other 2 are just like little. What characters am I trying to refer to with the Studio Ghibli?
You're
thing?
referring to the
I can't recall what they're called. Yeah.
Kodamas. That's what they're called.
Kodamas. Okay. Yep. They look like those.
Or just Kodama.
With big leaves behind them.
Like Totoro.
Exactly. Yeah. It's really giving that.
Okay. So maybe this is not the greatest depiction, but there were later slightly more artistic interpretations of what this RPG crew saw. Linz, could you please describe perhaps the most famous image of the beast.
With pleasure. Ooh. To be fair, the kids' drawings are pretty good. If this is the best sort of depiction but what on earth am I looking at? Okay. So we have a black and white image. Um, there's this creature, the Flatwoods Monster, is obviously in the woods. There's a large tree behind it. Um, so it has a round face, two large round eyes that look a bit. It looks a bit chrome, but maybe it's just what the artist came up with no choice in the matter. Maybe they just weren't that good. But it's quite a nice drawing. So there's like sort of a white halo around the head, and then there's this large sort of leafy. It's looking a bit Buddhist to me now, like Thai Buddhist. This sort of leafy large thing behind the head. It's sort of like a cloak or like a decorative thing that is coming up off the shoulders, going around the head, and it comes to like a soft point. Then there's a kind of armored, what looks like an armored plate made from, it looks metallic here. Can't tell, it could just be like a interpretation I'm making here. It's got long, thin arms with sort of thick, chrome looking claws. Looks like it's got 4 fingers. Then it's got a very thin, snatched waist. And for some reason, a pleated leather maxi skirt. And I think it's hovering.
That's a very, very good and accurate description of what we're seeing.
Yes, I have never seen a creature like this. It's something between a witch, a ghost, and an alien. It's a strange. I wouldn't call it a monster, but it's something. I can see why they just went with monster because it's all encompassing. But like, this is some weird, witchy alien thing.
Well, the group described what they saw as being 10 foot tall, with glowing orange eyes and twisted clawed hands. It wore a strange metallic robe or dress. Its head, or probably the hood of its clothes, were described as shaped like the ace of spades.
Yes.
The creature seemed to levitate and moved quickly towards the group as it let out a terrifying hiss. The monster seemed to be surrounded by some kind of mist, which was described as pungent and sickening, so thick that it in the air and had a nauseating effect on the group. So this all happened relatively quickly. They got a very small, fleeting glance at the beast. Lemon, a trained soldier, remember, screamed and dropped his flashlight. He then promptly ran away, leaving 4 children, a woman, and a dog all alone. No man gets left behind, Linz, but women, children, and animals, A-okay.
What a guy. What a guy.
What a lemon.
This is very like 2000s J-horror, this character. It's just sort of like, it appears, it flies towards you making some horrible noise, and then that's pretty much it.
Yeah, pretty much. The rest of the group cheesed it back home as fast as they could. Now, Linz, of course, we do have more to discuss in this case, but this is essentially the sighting. So it has about as much detail as the Ilkley Moor alien that you were 101% sure was just a large rock.
I do miss that full-on broccoli boy. That was one of our earliest episodes. And yeah, I think the broccoli boy, the Ilkley Moor alien, it was less threatening. This is very sort of like sci-fi J-horror. Sort of, I don't know. This is 10 foot tall. Now that changes everything. Because when I was looking at the picture, I was like, that's quite cute, very stylish. When you said 10 foot tall, I was like, yeah, no. No, I don't like that anymore. Oh, it's reminding me of like something from, what was it, He-Man? It's something that was like a bit before my time. Is it He-Man? There was like a little purple man, because my brother had a figure of it. It was a little purple man with a hood and sort of these little clawed hands, and his face was no. Oh yeah. This thing. Orko. Orko from He-Man. It's giving like Orko from He-Man.
Ah, yeah, I see. I had a figure of this guy as a kid as well, and he got mixed into my Star Wars figures because I thought that he was just a kind of
Sassy sand person.
more like a sassy Jawa.
Jawa, yes. A sassy Jawa. Yeah, but my brother had this figure and I was like, looks kind of, do you not think it looks a little bit like, what year was the Flatwoods Monster?
1952.
Oh, shit. Okay,
Several years before He-Man was
oh my
released.
gosh, 1952. Okay, I must have missed that at the beginning, but like, okay, this is a really early monster.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Some members of the group, although I will point out that it's difficult to ascertain exactly who, apparently reported after effects of the strange mist.
Headaches.
Kind of, supposedly.
I've had a migraine the entire week.
Might be a Flatwoods Monster. Supposedly, several of them suffered from throat irritation, vomiting, and nausea as well. And the interesting part about this is that they were actually diagnosed with possible mustard gas exposure.
You are kidding.
Or at least exhibiting the same signs. Others have speculated that it could be something different, connected to PTSD, but we'll get onto that in a while. But I hear you ask, what of the crash site itself, or whatever it was? Well, authorities did investigate the site and found absolutely nothing unusual. All nada, not
Wait.
a sausage.
Not even like tracks or burn marks or impressions? Nothing.
No, they didn't find anything.
Okay, that is a bit off. Because in the Bob's Balls episode, there was impressions, wasn't there?
There was, yep, circular ones.
Right, because I was about to compare it to that, because he was ill afterwards as well. And he was like, approached by strange balls and what have you. But okay, nothing of the crash site, so absolutely no evidence.
Nothing.
But they were all ill.
They all reported being ill afterwards.
But were they they went to get it checked out? I assume, and
they went to a doctor, who
right.
diagnosed them with this mustard gas exposure, or exhibiting the same symptoms as mustard gas exposure.
That is really strange. I wonder if they were exposed to something and all had some kind of. But then again, it's so far fetched when people are like, "Ooh, it was a group hallucination." Do you know what I mean? I'm sure that was a thing a couple of times in history, but it just seems so unlikely.
Well, there was another investigation you'll be happy to know. The next day, a reporter from the powerhouse newspaper, the Braxton Democrat, conducted.
You're so mean.
Hey, it's got a readership of at least 100 people. Conducted his own investigation of the site, and he claimed to find skid marks and an odd gummy deposit in some areas.
Ew.
Which was later taken as UFO activity by saucer enthusiasts.
It sounds like Sid Vicious's underwear at the airport TSA.
What do you make of all of this so far? We've had a group ascend a hillside. They've seen some kind of monster. They've got potentially mustard gas poisoning from it. And the authorities are saying there's nothing there. But one lone reporter is saying, well, I found some sticky stuff.
To be fair, the sticky stuff could be pretty much anything because, the forests here, I've, happened across, some weird... I don't know, a lot of things can happen in a forest where you're like, what the hell is that horrible goo right there? And it's just, coming out of a plant or a tree or something, and you're just like, okay... Or I don't know. There's a lot of things that you just might not know what it is, but it might seem a bit strange to you if you go hiking somewhere that you're unfamiliar with. But other than the mustard gas, potential, should I say, mustard gas poisoning, other than that, you could just make shit up. Do you know what I mean? But the fact that they had some kind of symptom that pointed in the direction of possible mustard gas poisoning, that's the only interesting thing to me. I love the description of the monster, I love the drawings of it, but it's like, if we really look into it, there's no crash site. One reporter said there is, but if you, like you said, if you have a readership of about 100 people, you're probably itching for a really interesting thing to write about. And therefore, you might just look for any scrap of evidence that could correlate with this story.
I
But
mean, he didn't really say it was a crash site, just that there was some skid marks. I mean, and to be fair, that could have been caused by the investigation the day before by the local authorities driving
yeah,
trucks up there.
exactly. Okay, well, you thought way more into this than I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. Like there was an investigation the day before. I I feel like I'm not really, I want to believe this because I really love the design of the monster and the outfit is just like perfect. But at the same time, it's like a couple of kids said a thing. And yeah, I mean, what do we have? The only interesting thing to me in this file is the potential mustard gas poisoning. And I'm not sure if that went anywhere or if there's any more
No, they got
follow
better.
up to it.
They
They
got
just
better.
got better at the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we haven't finished just yet. We have to ask ourselves the question: did anyone else see the monster?
Did anyone else see the monster?
Kinda.
Okay. All right.
So
All right.
there are two other sightings. The other sighting actually dates the one that we just talked about, which is the famous sighting of the Flatwoods Monster. This one was around 5 miles from Flatwoods, near a town called Heaters. A woman called Audra Harper was walking with her friend to a shop when she took a shortcut through the forest due to bad road conditions. After about half a mile into this shortcut, not really a shortcut if you ask me, so they suddenly noticed a ball of fire on a nearby hill, which they naturally said, goodness gracious, great balls of fire.
Ding, 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 ding.
But they dismissed it as fox chasing, which is apparently hunting fox, but without actually killing them, just, traumatizing them.
Wait, what? What is that?
It's exactly the same as a fox hunt. Hunting for foxes, but not killing them in the end.
Oh, how does that look like balls of fire?
While using, flaming torches.
Oh, dear God. Oh, yeah, it was like the 50s or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they had flashlights, but, I guess she just thought, one of the neighbours must be hunting foxes at night. They've got
That's absolutely bizarre. Never heard of it.
When she next glanced over to the ball of fire, it was extinguished and it had been replaced with a dark figure. Intimidating, the pair legged it, terrified, and this was later attributed as the first sighting of the Flatwoods Monster.
Oh, so it is kind of like a Loveland frog thing because it's like a completely different style of sighting. And it happened a bit before and actually around the same time. And we have the same style of drawing. That's very strange. I wonder if it was just a 50s thing to be like,
We don't have any drawings of this one.
yeah, but the description alone is like, I really like that. He just came from this like flaming orb and materialized. I love that. So did it look the same or do we not really know?
We don't really know. I mean, beyond that description, there's not a huge amount of information about this sighting. They, again, ran away. So this is apparently a fast-moving cryptid that is quite respectful if you run away from it. Like, oh, I guess they don't want to play. Okay.
They don't like me. It's like when you flee from embarrassment because you've overdressed.
Never have that problem. Now, there was one more sighting on the 18th of September 1952, so the day after the most famous sighting described earlier.
Ooh.
This one was 20 miles south of Flatwoods in a town called, and I'm not making this up.
You are kidding me. We need to move there tomorrow.
Just next to Erie, Indiana.
Oh.
Jordan Edith Snitowski were driving with their 18-month-old baby in the back seat when suddenly their car died. I told you to take this to the garage, George. I did, Edith. You took it to your mate Dodgy Bob's, didn't you? No, Edith, I didn't. You did. I thought it smelled like Brill cream in here. That's my hair, Edith. Anyway, while the couple were arguing, George was trying to restart the car without success. Suddenly, the couple smelled a foul odour and the baby began to cry. Now, this isn't unusual. When you have an 18-month-old, let me tell you, they quite often emit foul smells and
Yes.
wail away. But this was something else. This was a smell like sulphur. Suddenly, a strange light filled the air, and then a strange 10-foot creature appeared in front of their car. The creature this time now has its ace of spades hood again, and its head was visible, supposedly being reptile-like. The monster dragged its scaly claws across the hood of the car because it loves to be dramatic, and then it vanished into the woods. But Linz, the monster was never seen again after that incident.
Wait a minute, Chris. Sulfur.
Yes.
The only time we have heard of like some kind of entity smelling like sulfur is in our paranormal cases, like possessions, hauntings, stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
Ghosts and ghouls. That's pretty much the only time we ever mention something smelling like sulfur, which, okay, this explains why the Flatwoods Monster has so many names, like the Phantom and stuff.
I mean, as well, sulfur kind of associated with, hell thing. So maybe this is a demon coming up from hell as well. That's another potential option, something coming from the afterlife.
Well, it does sound very sassy, but like this couple said that it looked reptilian.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I can see that with the claws, but from the other drawings, they all had like, I suppose geckos have big round eyes.
Ooh.
So it's a large
uh,
gecko.
shoulder.
Monitor lizards.
Monitor lizards. So the big-eyed snakes.
Big-eyed snakes.
Those big-eyed snakes you got down there in big-eyed snake
Ew.
country.
Is that what you call it?
So, what happened, Linz? Well, fortunately, we do have a study into the incident to look into.
You're kidding.
This was conducted 48 years later in the year 2000 by Joe Nickell of CSI. Yes, that's right. The Committee for Skeptical Inquiry. That's what you were thinking of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly the first thing I think of when I think of CSI.
Exactly. CSI West Virginia. Joe states that there was a meteor spotted over 3 states, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia, on September the 12th. So this is his explanation for the light in the sky, and he also states that the red pulsing light observed at the scene was due to 3 aircraft beacons that were in the area at the time. He states that the alien being was actually a woodland creature that we've come across before, Linz. Any ideas?
A what? A 10-foot woodland creature. A woodland creature. West Virginia. What, like a
What animal gets blamed for being an alien?
an owl?
An owl.
No, 10-foot owl.
Not
Come
quite.
on now.
Not quite. He specifically thinks that it may have been a barn owl, one perched on a tree branch with debris underneath. The owl making up the head and torso, with the legs appearing as arms, and the debris below possibly piled leaves appearing to be its skirt. This would also explain the strange glow to the alien's eyes, as owls' eyes, of course, reflect light. And do bear in mind that they only got a very brief glimpse of the creature before Lemon dropped the flashlight and ran away like a little scaredy cat.
I mean, owls are getting blamed for a hell of a lot in all of these stories, aren't they? But Have you ever wandered around the woods and like just ran into an owl?
No,
I
there's not many owls around
haven't.
here, though.
I mean, it's a lot of owls in England, but not where we come from.
Well, here's an image that's about as close as I could find that illustrates this.
All right. Oh, so this is the long-eared owl. Looking very much like a turkey.
Yes, it could also be a turkey, I suppose, as well.
Fancy turkey. No, I think that's a long-eared owl. And he's got all of he's very fluffed up. He's got all of his feathers. He's almost circular, actually. That's how fluffed up he is. And he's got his wings out. But I mean, I've got this owl picture and the Flatwoods Monster side by side. And I mean, this sort of halo of feathers that he has around him, it it could it does kind of look like this what did you call it? The ace, like an ace of spades shape
That's
behind
how they
him, like a
described it. Yeah,
spade.
an ace of
Yeah,
spades.
it does look like that. I mean, yeah, it does kind of look like that. And then the halo, there's like a white sort of, there's a lighter feathers around the owl's face, and he does have very large eyes, and it is kind of like a skirt, but the Flatwoods Monster drawings, like the kids' drawings, look like an owl. I will say that the kids' drawings do look more like it. But like the black and white sort of, I don't know what that is, pencil or charcoal drawing that we have, that's a lot more detailed, does not look like the owl. So I suppose it depends whose drawing you want to take more seriously in regards of if it looks like an owl or not.
Yeah.
But owls get blamed for so many like paranormal slash alien things. Just like basically anything with large eyes. It's like it was an owl.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably about the best explanation, natural explanation that you could give for something, but I also admit it is quite far fetched as well, but I guess so is the story in addition. Um, the obvious other options, which is that it's all real or that they made it up.
I want this one to be real just because of the way that it looks. It looks so cool.
Just because somebody's on fleek, you can't just believe everything that they said. That's how Hitler got into power.
Chris, that is definitely not how Hitler got into power.
I've studied all of this. You got sweet threads to find yourself king of Europe.
I think like it does look very the Flatwoods Monster, I mean not Hitler. It does look very like industrial goth, which is maybe is why I like it. But yeah, I mean the crash site was like fruitless and barren. So I think like that's not there's nothing that really supports the story apart from a bunch of kids getting like mustard gas poisoning potentially. And then it just kind of, I mean, people say they sighted things, but one time I thought that I sighted like, I was in a forest here and they have these like small campsites with these like little wooden sort of gazebo looking things. And I was walking around, it was absolutely silent, there was no one there. And I was making a video for Instagram stories actually. And I was like, oh, this is where people usually come to like have a like to go fishing and like have a fire and stuff. And I was like, look, there's axes just hanging around for people to use. You wouldn't get that in the UK. And then as I sort of like moved the camera around to look in this little wooden gazebo, there was a fucking person in there alone and I did not expect it. And I didn't look properly because I was looking for the viewfinder. I sort of screamed and ran off. It was like a Blair Witch moment where I was like, oh my God, and I was just running through the forest. And then at the time, I thought I had seen what looked like a witch with like striped socks and pointy shoes. And I would genuinely thought I saw that, which was really worrying. And then later I looked at the footage and it was just like a German woman in hiking gear. So I feel like if you're shocked by something, your brain really can make up like a scary picture. Like just out like I don't know, it just gets scared and it makes up this scary creature. and you see it for a split second and you just go into like flight mode. And I don't know if that's just something the brain does, because like I genuinely thought I saw that. And then I had the footage to look back on and I was like, oh my God, that was just a hiker. And they were probably like, what is wrong with that woman? So short, like sightings that are very brief, I feel like they're so unreliable. Like, honestly, they're so unreliable that like I just can't, after that experience and looking back at my footage, I can't take anyone's like short experience seriously. Like if someone has a long interaction with a character or a creature, okay, I can take it more seriously. But if they just see it and run away, can't take it seriously anymore just from experience.
Well, I mean, Joe. To return to Joe's report for a moment, he also
To return to the story.
yeah, he also stated that the mustard gas-like nausea experienced by the group was consistent with the effects of hysteria, overexhaustion, and post-traumatic stress disorder.
What, from seeing the thing? I don't know.
No, I mean, to be fair, I think personally that there might be a little bit too much to be made of this mustard gas explanation thing. I think somebody probably said to them, "Oh, God, right, you've got throat irritation, vomiting, or nausea. If these were if we're in the field of France in World War II, I'd say you'd had mustard gas poisoning." Somebody probably ran with that, but I mean, throat irritation, oh, my throat feels a bit funny, vomiting, and oh, I feel a bit sick. Well, yeah, because you're vomiting, aren't you?
That's also kind of like anxiety symptoms. So I've just Googled sulfur mustard and it says runny nose, sneezing, hoarseness, bloody nose, sinus pain, shortness of breath and cough, abdominal pain, diarrhea, fever, nausea and vomiting. And that's not like a high dose of poisoning. And all those symptoms are also kind of like a virus, right? Like a bug or a flu that you might get,
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I
like
might
a
have mustard gas
respiratory
poisoning right
thing.
now.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like maybe it was because of the time, like it was the early 50s. Um, Maybe it was just in the front of people's minds to think about things like that. But like in this day and age, if you heard runny nose, sneezing, sinus pain, shortness of breath, and cough, you wouldn't go, "Oh my God, have you been around mustard gas?" You'd be like, "Yeah, you've got a cold." But large doses is like fatal skin burning, chronic respiratory disease, stuff like that. Um, so it would be a very low level if it was, but those symptoms could honestly be anything,
Yeah.
including just the flu or a cold or something.
Well, Linz, what do you make of Joe's report? Was it truly a being that visited us from another world for about a week in 1952, never to return? Or was it a hootie boy?
um, I don't, I don't know. I feel like I don't know if this is like a hot take, but I feel like they just made it up. Like this is one of the times where I actually think it was probably made up or a hoodie boy. Like if they did see anything, it has to be hoodie boy, doesn't it? But I
Yeah,
just feel like it's made up. There's not much to it. It does remind me of Broccoli Boy, but at least in Broccoli Boy, the Ilkley Moralian, there was a photo, and it may have been a photo of what looked like a shrub, but at least there was something. With this, I'm just like cool drawings, but like that's all we have. Like I could go, Chris, I saw something and draw a thing, and then have the
mm,
flu, and it would basically have the same amount of circumstantial evidence as the Flatwoods Monster.
quite, quite possibly.
I like this like as a folklore, I like it, but as an actual file, I think I would have to sort of close it purely for lack of
Mm,
evidence.
interesting. Well,
What about you?
I think they did see something up there. I think their story, you know, things are relatively consistent, things like that. I think they probably did see something, but I think it was a blink and you miss it type of thing. I
Yeah.
think, if you've got adults running away, I think the kids probably would have been pegging it as well. I think they went up there, what you call it, their emotions probably at a high. They were expecting to see something. Maybe it was an owl on a branch and they just went, oh shit, and ran away.
You can get pretty big owls, to be honest. If you see a really big owl, it is a bit jarring. But yeah, also like a
Grow
dog
them
and
owls big out in West. Not like our tiny Virginian owls that you can fit in the palm of your hand.
there is, to be
That's
honest,
not how they
owls
speak
do.
in Virginia.
No, there is like owls do come like big and small, but I feel like if you put a person out in the woods at night, you're just generally a little bit more scared because it's dark and you don't know where you are and it's easy to get like disorientated. So you generally are feeling a bit like on edge. And then maybe if you see another living thing, especially like a bird or a mammal, you're probably like, ah, and you don't, I don't know. This is one of the cases that like I love the design of the cryptid slash alien slash phantom, whatever it is. But I think this is one of the files that like I can actually close. It does remind me of Ilkleymoor Alien and Loveland Frog. And I just think they were all just things that people thought they saw but didn't see and was all like mistook for something else. I think they all fall into the same category.
Yeah, well, I suppose we must ask ourselves what is the legacy of the Flatwoods Monster? Well, unsurprisingly, it is perhaps, or rather definitely, the most interesting thing to ever be associated with the small town of Flatwoods.
Which is why I don't want to take it away from them.
Sorry to all 264 residents. I'm sure that Keith's alignment and mechanical services shop just off Salt Lick Road is lovely. But the Flatwoods Monster, or the Green Monster as they like to call it, is the cause of the most. There are indeed signs commemorating the incident, and they honour it at the Flatwoods Days Festival. In the nearby
Ooh.
town of Sutton, there is the Flatwoods Monster Museum in what can only be described as a slap in the face to the people of Flatwoods, and I wholeheartedly support a 264-person all-out assault on the town of Sutton to take back what is rightfully theirs, brick by brick. Probably not brick, this is the States. It's probably wooden planks. But you get my drift.
Drywall by handful of drywall by handful
drywall.
of drywall.
There are also 5 chairs mocked up to look like the monster dotted around Braxton County. Apparently, if you take a photo in all 5, you will get free Braxy stickers. And the first listener to send one of those our way will get some goodies. Return.
Oh my god, please.
So here's one of the chairs.
Oh, that is awesome. I love that. So it was a chrome sort of like breastplate design.
Well, they're interpreting it as that.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing. Really love it.
And that is the story of the Flatwoods Monster. I guess we just have to say, what are your thoughts overall? Are you ready to close this case?
I am not 100% ready, but I feel like I'm going more that way. Like I said, I'm putting it with Ilkleymoor Alien and what was the other one? Ilkleymoor Alien, Loveland Frog, and also maybe Dover Demon. But maybe they're just lesser sighted cryptids. I don't know. But it feels like they all fit in the same kind of, if they were in like a group at school, they would all be in the same group. They're all the same type of cryptid, I would say. So I'm not sure. I'm not ready to completely write it off, but I'm feeling like I just need a little bit more. I need more sightings, or I need more sort of like, there's usually, like when you get these UFO cases where something lands on Earth, there's usually like something left behind. But the fact that there was nothing, like either they just sort of materialize, or I don't know. I think I need a little bit more in this case, and we just don't have it.
I mean, I think perhaps a trip to West Virginia might be on the cards for us in the future. What with that and the Mothman, you know what they say: Virginia is for lovers. West Virginia,
Is that what they say, Chris?
that is what they say. So, well, that's us done. Oh, hold on, wait. There is just one more thing, Linz.
Ooh.
During this episode, I spent quite a lot of time on Google's Maps looking at the local area, and some of the names of nearby towns are just frankly fantastic.
Okay.
And I know American listeners will be listening to this and thinking all of our towns in the UK are called Glibblewitch Central by the Sea or Coxgobble. But
And they would be right.
They would be right, but that's a very different kind of humour. So, Linz, I'm going to give you a list of towns here, and one of
Okay.
them on the list is a ringer, not a real town in West Virginia. You have to identify which, and I promise, this isn't a lie, as with the Steven Seagal movies question. One of
Okay.
these is not real.
Right.
So here are your options. You're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 options to choose from.
Do I get a
one,
prize if I win?
You do. You do get
Okay.
a prize. Not telling you what it is until the end.
If it's a congratulations, fuck you.
So option number 1, Big Bend.
That's funny to us.
Option number 2, Ireland.
Again?
Ireland,
How do you spell that?
like the country Ireland.
Island. Okay.
Junior, Balcony, Big Otter,
Oh, I love that.
Bacon, Duck, and finally, Tornado.
Oh, shit.
I'll run through those quickly once again. Big Bend, Ireland, Junior, Balcony, Big Otter, Bacon, Duck, and Tornado.
Oh, God. I think Big Bend is real.
Yep. I'll let you
It's-
eliminate these if you want to. Yeah, Big Bend, that is real.
What's the next one?
Ireland.
I feel like that sounds a bit weird, but no, I'm going to say that's real.
That is real, yes.
Okay.
If you want to move on to the next one and hold it and eliminate it, go for it.
Okay, I'm going to take a stab.
Okay?
I'm thinking it's either bacon or duck.
Okay. It's not just bacon, bacon.
Oh, bacon.
Yeah.
Okay, that's got to be real because I don't think you'd make that up. It's just weird.
I am quite weird.
That's also true. Okay. Damn, I don't know. They're literally also strange. I'm going to go with duck.
Okay, I can tell you, Duck is a real place.
So cute.
So, Big Bend, Ireland, Junior, Big Otter, Bacon, Duck, and Tornado are all real places. Sadly, there is not a town called Balcony.
Balcony, okay. That was my second guess.
I think that I don't know why that came to me, but it did. Balcony.
You're like, I wish I had a balcony.
Okay, well, that is the end of our file here on both West Virginian small town names and the Flatwoods Monster. Linz, you're not wholly convinced, but you may be leaving just a corner of the page overturned just in case there's a little
Yeah.
bit to it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The file is not completely snapped shut yet. The drawer has not been closed. I'd like to have some more like convincing evidence, but right now it's not enough for me. But I love the character. I
Linz,
love the way it looks.
Linz. if you want
Yes.
convincing evidence, we're in the wrong game here. Okay, right? No,
Okay,
barely any of the
more
cases that we
witness
investigate have convincing evidence.
True. Yeah, actually, you're right. I mean, it's just one of the. I don't know. I guess it's the non-alien cryptid category that we're looking at here. And I don't know why we're believing that the aliens are more real than these random creatures. You're right. Like, there's literally no case that's had evidence.
And on that bombshell, make sure you come back next time for Dystopian Simulation Radio, where we'll definitely have some sort of tangible evidence for you.
You know what? I'm going to work hard to get a case that has tangible evidence.
Good luck with that one.
Thank you so much, Chris, for just educating me on the Flatwoods Monster and what it is. That's one I did want to check off our list, actually. So good job on that, although I still don't know what I've seen.
And neither do I.
No.
Well,
thank you so much for listening, everybody.
Yes, thank you very much. Remember, you can find all of the images for this episode over on Instagram at d.s.radio. And you can also, if you're feeling especially generous, join our Patreon community over at patreon.com/dystopian simulation radio. We are professionals. We did forget to do that at the beginning. Bye.
But you know the drill by now. Bye. Is that the European? No. Is that the great owl? What is that?
I don't know, man. It's a fucking owl.
Yeah, but there's types. Is that the great owl? I think we actually have that in the UK. Hold on, I need to know. I don't know. It's a fucking owl.
They're all the same to me.